Hi everyone, Jesse here with etrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at, and I'll show you how to install the Curt Universal Trailer Wiring Kit on our 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLC. Trailer wiring is just one of those things that's absolutely essential if you plan on doing any kind of towing with your Mercedes. It's going to keep you safe and legal out there on the road by allowing your vehicle to send a signal to the lights on your trailer to allow other drivers to know what you're doing out there. So that means your turn signals, your tail lights, and your brake lights. Here's what it looks like. It's really just your standard 4-pole that will plug into any trailer's 4-pole wiring. It does come with a dust cap, but the way we have it installed, when you're not hooked up to your trailer, it's really nice to be able to just have a nice storage spot. It's as simple as just bundling up the wire and putting it anywhere you want. That's going to keep it out of the elements and out of your way. But when you are ready to tow, it's as easy as pulling it out, and the lift gate can close on top of it. The wiring is designed to do this, so you don't have to worry about damaging it at all. But really, that's about it. It's just something that you absolutely have to stay safe and legal out there on the road. And as for the installation, since this is a universal kit, that means you do have to splice into your taillight wiring. So if you don't have any experience doing that, or maybe you just don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do that, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you are looking to get this installed yourself, then just follow along and I'll walk you through the process. Also, if you've installed this yourself and you just want to share some tips or tricks, or maybe just some pictures of what you're using your Mercedes to haul, please feel free to leave a review or a comment. To begin our installation, we'll need to start by removing any floor coverings. So we'll just pop this out and set it aside. What we're trying to do is get access to the back of our tail lights here. We'll need to remove this panel here. This is just held in by clips, so just get a firm grip on it and pull up. So if any of these pins stick into the body of the car, you'll just want to slide them into the panel. They fit pretty loose in there, so whenever we go to reinstall these, we'll probably have to make sure they all stay. On our cargo hook here, there's a bolt behind this plastic panel. So from the top, let's get a flathead screwdriver and pry behind it. Work that out of your way. Behind that, there is a T40 Torx. And really from this point on, anything we do on one side, we'll be doing the same thing on the other. Now we need to remove this panel here. You might be able to kind of work it up from underneath. There's just tabs that are lining up. Once you get it worked up a little bit, you can come in with a pry tool, get that popped out. Then there's going to be similar tabs on the back side. And once you get these two tabs released, you should be able to kind of force your fingers back behind it and work it out. Then we can just leave it hanging like this. Now we should be able to peel back this panel here. It pops out pretty easy and we can get access to our wiring. Now for our tail light wiring, it's going to be pretty hard to see, so I have a mirror here. You may be able to see the plug there, and there's a tab that I'll depress, and when I depress that, I'll pull the plug out and it will disconnect. So as you can see, it just has this tab here. You'll depress it and then pull that plug out. So once I got this unplugged, what I did was cut back some of this sheathing here. That's so I can test our wiring. So I had to replug it in, get a test light, and put it on each of our wires. I already did the testing, so I know that this gray and black wire here, that's going to be our stop and turn signal. And this black and violet wire here, that's going to be our tail light signal. Now for our wiring in our kit, this black box here, this is our control module. All we need to do is find a nice spot, probably tucked behind this panel, to stick it. The kit includes some double-sided tape, so we'll just stick it to the back and get it in there. I'm going to do that last just to make sure that I have some room to work with our wires here. As for our wires, our ground wire here already has a ring terminal installed, but with the way we're wiring this car, we will also have to ground out this red wire. So what I'll do is cut this off and add on a new ring terminal. And we'll use the included self-tapper to get that adhered to the vehicle. Our yellow wire is for our left turn signal, so that's going to tie into the black and gray wire. The brown wire is for our taillight signal. That's that black and violet wire. And then the green wire, you'll notice, is quite a bit longer. That's because that's going to tie into the black and gray wire on our right side taillight. So we'll just run that underneath this panel here. And our black wire here, that's where we're going to get our 12-volt power from. So what we'll do is extend this out. We'll send it through a grommet in the back of the vehicle here and run it up to the battery, which is located in the engine bay. So in your kit, you'll have these quick splices. The way these work is you just have to cut this wire in half, slide both ends in, and then slide. Well, right now I'm working with the black and violet, so that's my brown wire. Slide that in to one of these posts and use some pliers to push this metal tab down and close the tab. It's just personal preference. I don't really like using those. I have more experience with a connection like this butt connector here. So there's nothing wrong with using the other connector, but once again, just personal preference. So what I'll do is just, I twisted the two wires together. I'll come through with some crimpers to make that connection. Instead of using that included self-tapper, there's actually a factory ground right here that's pretty easy to access. This is a 10mm nut. I loosened it up with a socket. We'll get that taken off and slide our ring terminal over that. For our black wire, I sent it through a grommet kind of near the spare tire. I just cut a hole in it and sent my wiring through. Then from there, we have to route it to the front of the vehicle. Our main goal is to stay away from any hot or moving parts. So I tucked it up above our subframe here. And then once we got past the subframe, I really just dropped this panel down. There's a 10mm nut and a few 8mm bolts. Just drop it down so we can tuck that wire up into there. And it just follows that panel all the way to this point. At this point, it's kind of tricky to get up into the engine bay, so I used a piece of airline tubing. I sent it down away from the exhaust. That was the thing I was having issues with. And from there, I just taped it on, so I'll be able to pull it up from the engine bay and get it routed to our battery. Now here's our wire that we pulled into the engine bay. We are on the passenger side. Our battery's under this cover. It's going to be two tabs here. This quarter turn both of them, and you can pop that out. We'll need to get access to our battery right here on the positive side, but first, with our black wire, we'll just strip the end of it. In our kit, we have a fuse holder here. It comes pre-stripped. So I'm using a heat shrink butt connector since we're outside the vehicle. That'll keep a better seal than the included butt connectors, but I'll crimp one end to our black wire, and then the other end will get a ring terminal. So now what I've done is I took this cabin filter assembly out of our way. There's just two tabs that you push in, and then you can pull it out, lift it up out of your way. We're going to use this stud right here. One thing you want to do is just be careful. You don't want to make contact with this cross brace while you're removing it, as you will ground it and you'll have some sparks going. But it's a 13mm. I'm using a short socket with a small 1/4-inch ratchet. We'll take that nut off, slide our ring terminal over the stud, and reinstall the nut. So this nut's pretty difficult to get all the way off. It's all built into this plastic here. So what I'll do is just make a couple of cuts in our ring terminal, and then I'll slide the ring terminal into the stud and tighten down over it. That'll be plenty of contact to give us power. Now we'll take our fuse and plug it into our fuse holder. Then we can test our lights and make sure everything's working correctly. Now we have our 4-pole tester hooked up to our 4-pole wiring. You could also just hook up to your trailer to test everything. But I have the tail lights on right now, so you'll see that light lit. And this is the left turn signal, right turn signal, and brakes. All that's left is to get all of our wiring cleaned up and get our rear panels back together. But other than that, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Curt Universal Trailer Wiring Kit on our 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLC.